wouldn't be a friend if I didn't give you some sort of actions to take to move you towards your success and your goals. Welcome back, Alchemist. This is the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Monroe, the real estate mentor, and we're on the mission to millions. We've already built 24 confirmed millionaires in 2022, and our goal is to reach 100 millionaires in the next year or two. So if you're committed to the cause, you're looking to get to that next level, stay with us, stay close, and help us automate the millionaire building process. It's not just about building millionaires. We want to make sure that when somebody signs up for Alchemist Nation, within an experienced amount of time, they become a millionaire. Show of hands if that's okay with you, if you don't mind it being automated. Hell yeah. And when we say automated, we don't mean there's no people involved, because we're very aware that the millionaire building process involves people. Show of hands if you've seen that already. You've noticed we talk a lot about networking, human relationships, connection. Real estate is not a real estate business at all. It is actually a people business. So if you want to become a millionaire, we know the fastest way to becoming a millionaire is through buying real estate. True or true? You've heard this before, not just from me, but the math is out there. The science has been done. People have figured it out. In order to become a millionaire, the easiest way to do it is to own real estate. So wealth principle 16 is to develop a fixity of purpose, to identify a path with which you can use to get to your wealth goals. Show of hands if you're committed to becoming a millionaire in the next 2 to 3 years. Excellent. Show of hands if you're committed to, once you've gotten yours, helping others get theirs, building 100 millionaires. Awesome. It's the glue that holds us all together. Now, automating the millionaire building process didn't just happen out of thin air. It was something that I had to do to spend time on. In fact, I'm going to show you the process today of how we developed the concept of automating millionaires. And I'm going to walk you through a process so that you can figure out what your fixity of purpose is. One of the problems of not having a fixity purpose, and I'm just going to read these out loud, is a lack of direction. Most real estate investors never buy real estate because they don't know where they're going or why they're doing it. A real estate investor without a lack of direction or a clear purpose will end up not buying, not owning real estate, because they'll be in multiple different markets. Show hands if you've ever been the experience of not closing on real estate. You were like, oh my God, this is the month I'm going to do it. And then the month went by and nothing happened. Show hands, just be honest. Yeah. All right. So what happened in that month? Likely one of two things. Either you didn't choose your market, or you didn't choose the type of property you were going to buy. And if you don't have your market or your type of property locked down, there's a good chance that you won't buy real estate. Now, the third thing that could happen is you hadn't been clear about what your budget was. Show of hands if you at some point have not had the money to buy real estate. And that was the reason you didn't buy. Okay. So those three components stacked up against a person could be the reason that you haven't bought real estate. We're going to clear that up today. Number two, inconsistency with decision making. Without a clear purpose, real estate investors make inconsistent decisions that don't align with their long-term goals. They may be swayed by short-term opportunities and trends rather than making decisions to support their overall vision. Show of hands if you have at some point not made the right decisions because you just didn't know what to buy. Thinking about buying single family homes, SFRs, maybe I'm going to Airbnb, maybe I'm going to do multifamily, maybe I'm going to do some people I have heard getting into the storage units. Show of hands if you've been dragged by multiple different concepts or niches before. Just all sorts of different things, kind of taking you all over the place. That's indecision because of a lack of vision. Number three, lack of motivation. Lack of motivation. Real estate investors without a clear purpose may lack motivation because they don't have a clear idea of what they are working towards. Who here has ever said or had a hard time waking up in the morning? Just getting out of bed, just been like, I don't know why I'm getting up. There's a few of you who are shaking your head. Liar. Every single person on the planet has had an unmotivated day. They may not have been recently for you, but every single person on this planet has had an unmotivated day. And those days are dictated by not knowing where you're going, a lack of clarity. So difficulty communicating your value proposition. This is another cause from not having your fixity of purpose dialed in. When real estate investors don't have a clear purpose, it can be challenging for them to communicate why a person should sell their property to them, why a person should invest with them, why a person should give them money. And it ends up being a challenge with their partners, their investors, and their clients. They may even struggle to articulate what sets them apart from other investors. Show of hands if you know somebody who has had a difficulty communicating why somebody should lend to them or invest with them. Excellent. Yeah, we just know a few people. It's not us, right? Never somebody in Alchemist Nation. Somebody else is the one with that problem. And then feeling unfulfilled. Finally, real estate investors without a purpose I will feel like they don't know why they're here, why they're doing things. Money no longer becomes important to them. They start saying things that their friends used to say, like, money's not really that important. I don't really need to make money this year. And they don't have a sense beyond the income, which can cause, again, a lack of motivation and just taking action. So today we're going to talk about a couple of different steps. I'm going to go through 3 steps in order to find purpose, 3 steps in order that you can take action on literally today so that you can move forward powerfully. And here's some of the results of people who have, by the way, who here knows somebody with a very clear purpose? Show of hands if you know somebody with a clear sense of purpose. Excellent. I'm going to ask you to think about that person as you're going through this process. I want you to think about some proof of concept. Or if you're the person who's got a very clear sense of purpose, you can think about times where you justified this. They were very clear. So the purpose provides clarity and focus. Fixity of purpose helps you define your goals and stay focused on where you're looking to go. It also increases motivation. Who here knows somebody who just wakes up jazzed every day? Wakes up, like, literally just pops out of bed, goes and takes over the world. I know one of them too. They do leg day literally every day. And it's because of that clarity of purpose in the universe, just knowing like there are people out there who need to know what we're doing, who we're building tools, building resource for. By the way, Mark Doswell right now is working hard so that you have a map of all your other community events that are happening. Alchemist Nation has 40 live events across the country. And right now I keep getting the question, well, where are they? Well, where's the one closest to me? How do I find, where can I go to see that? Show of hands if you've questioned before, where are all the local events? Like, how do I know where they're at? We've been getting that feedback, and we've tasked Mark about a month ago. We said, Mark, we need him. Actually, it was probably closer to 3 months ago. We tasked Mark with this. But about a month ago, he really started figuring it out. He dialed it in, and that map will be released very soon because you gave us a little bit of direction. You told us we want this, and now we had a fixity. We had a way to go to focus and motivate ourselves. As we got closer and closer, it became easier and easier. Who here's seen somebody with credibility? I want you to visualize this person now with a lot of credibility and trust. When you have a clear purpose, you can communicate it effectively to others, right? It allows you to say, I've done this deal before, or I've already gone and paid for the plans to do this, and I'm going to go and build this building now. I'm going to go and make this change now. I'm going to reinvent this area of the city now, because it's been almost, just because it was up here, it became real in the real world. City plans or a rendering. Who here's seen a rendering of a project before? A rendering of a real estate project? And just been like, oh my God, that's going to be epic. I was watching Tolosa like a year ago, and I was watching like what they're going to do with like the planes and the helicopters and like the things running down the city and everything being organic. I was like, that city must exist. Like, it's going to happen, obviously. Now, dude probably spent 50 grand on building this rendering and building this website and putting it all together and making sure that, the visual is there. But that's because he had the fixity of purpose to make it happen, right? That clarity in his mind. And now they've raised millions and millions of dollars because of one video, one website. Show of hands if you realize you might have lacked the vision, lacked the ability to put it down on paper or in the digital world. So we're going to talk about today an action step, because every single week with one of these principles, we lock down an action step. And by the way, there'll be a book, as there always is a book. We read 52 books a year because the average person reads one. And the average person doesn't even finish their one book. So if we're reading 52 books, that gives you a 52-to-1 advantage over all those broke people, all those other people who are not making success. Show of hands if you are committed to making more money than the average person. Our average person in America makes $55,000. That is, in my opinion, average. Under that is completely broke. Now, if you're in a different country, I understand the money just totally is different. And if you're in a country where the dollars are worth more than ours, like, I don't know, Europe or sometimes in Dubai, you got to earn a little bit more than we do, ironically, because the US dollar is strong in most places, but in some places it's a little bit weaker. That being said, your action step this week is going to be a 6-step process. And I want you to develop your fixity of purpose today so that you never have a question on why you're doing what you're doing. And before I walk you through that process, I'll share what ours is. Alchemist Nation is committed to automating the millionaire building process. We've built millionaires. We built 24 tracked millionaires. We have their net worth. We know exactly where they started and where they ended up. And they're growing, by the way. Some of our millionaires are now pentamillionaires. That's 5 million net worth. Some of them are multimillionaires with $2 to $3 million net worth. Let's give our millionaires a big round of applause for the hard work they're putting in and for contributing their stories to us, contributing their path to us, showing us how they did what they did, and also allowing us to show them a way, give them some guidance. Some of our millionaires, when they started, had 12 units, 12 rental units, and they said, our goal is 50, our goal is 100. And today, those exact people have over 100 units. It's impressive what a person with a Fixity can go and accomplish in this world. Now, they didn't have a plan to do it. And you don't need today, you don't need a plan. I will tell you before I get into the action steps, who knows, I speak to a billionaire every week. I speak to Vinny Smile Chopra every single week on Thursdays, called Abundance Thursdays. He actually allows us to stream this out to the world. So if you follow us on Facebook and you go into Alchemist Nation, the Facebook group, every week we go and we stream his opinion of this principle. So this week he gave me 4 steps. I'm going to give you those, but these are not the action steps you're going to take. But I want to give you the overview of what the 4 steps a billionaire gave me in order to define your fixative purpose and put it out to the world. So you have to do very little so it gets accomplished. Show of hands if that's something you're interested in. If you want these 4 steps from a billionaire. All right. First, he said, you must know your why. You must know what you want, why you are doing this, why you're pushing. This must be written down. You must write it down. If you just know your why and think, okay, that's why I'm working, I guarantee tomorrow you will forget it. It will not be that important. If it's not in your refrigerator, if it's not in places you see, if it's not in your mirror in the bathroom, you will forget it. It just happens automatically. It's how the subconscious mind works. Keeps you where you are, not where you want to be. Not designed to get you there until you see it often, until you start thinking about it. So 1, your why. Number 2, and that is like a whole thing in itself. Your why is like a whole training on how to get it. I guarantee most people don't understand what that actually means. And the book, Simon Sinek, Start With Why, will not help you get there. Show of hands if you understand, if you've read that book and you're like, I don't fucking even get it. So that book will not help you get your why. And I apologize. I love Simon Sinek. I think the book is great. There's a lot of stories to it. It's helped me build a marketing company, but it has not helped me find my why. So whole other project. So number 2, you must design your strategic objective. Your strategic objective is based on your why. It's based on the why, the reason, the motivation behind what you're getting. So the strategic objective is different from your why. It's different from your personal goal. It's what your company will do. It's what your organization will do. It's what your team will do. It's what your mastermind will do. It's what your group around you who are moving powerfully towards a singular direction. They need a strategic objective. And it is dictated of, we're going, like Alchemist Nation's strategic objective is to automate the millionaire building process. We're going to create 300 major cities. We're going to add events in 300 major cities with our 4 types of events. So we'll have 1,200 events running across the community, the state of America, the country of America. So that's 1,200 locations that are running real estate investor trainings at some level, networking events. So we're building millionaires through that process. We also knew that we needed a strategic team in every single one of those markets, a strategic team of business professionals who know how to work people through the millionaire process. We also needed a documented millionaire building process. So we identified in our strategic objective to nail every one of these things. Now, the strategic objective, here's what you do with it. It goes out to your team. It goes out to your clients. It goes out to your friends. It goes out to your community. You let everybody know, this is what we're aiming towards. This is what we're looking for. Help us. Help us. You must ask for help. You must be humble and authentic when asking. Step 3, strategic guidelines, strategic principles, things that you use to get through to that other side, things that you know will guide you through to the other side. And then step 4, your organizational chart. The organization, the people who you can rely on, making room for the people you can rely on in order to get to that next level. Step 4 is extremely important because without those people, you will remain where you are. You will remain exactly where you are. So step 1, your vision, your why. Step 2, you must have your strategic objective, what you're going to do. And then step 3, when I say the principles, it's your strategic plan, right? It's a tactical plan in place that you're going to use to attack. And then step 4, your organizational chart. This is the people you're going to put in place in that strategic plan. your generals, your medics, your artillery, your assault rifles, your marketers, your salespeople, your operations team, your property managers, your realtors, your attorneys, your lenders. Show of hands if we understand. We got like a dozen people we need on our team to go out there and kill it for us. You need your org chart. Who does what, where it goes, how it works. And then the strategic plan will help you guide your army. And you may even have somebody else who's guiding your army and you're just a piece on the machine. I find myself to be a piece in the machine, right? We have other people above me, the board of directors. We have Darina is the COO of the company. She tells me what to do in many situations. Show of hands if it's okay to be humble in your company. Let other people run the show and you can be a cog in the wheel for a time. If you really want your company to grow, you've got to be able to learn it, do it, and then delegate it. Learn it, do it, teach it. Learn it, do it, automate it. So those are the 4 steps from a billionaire. Let's give Vinny Smile Chopra a round of applause for helping us out learn this. Again, they are vision. You must understand where you're going. Then they are also the strategic objective. Your company must have a plan to take action on. And then the third is a strategic plan. They must know what they're doing. The number 2, the strategic objective is their goal. Number 3 is how they're getting there. And number 4, they must have an org chart. They must know who they are and where they stand in your company. Now, your action steps are these 6. If you're looking and you're ready to take your business to the next level, you're ready to take your real estate company to a point where nobody can stop you, where you're making clear decisions, you're buying property, you're raising capital, people trust you. Remember, they won't give you their money if they don't know, like, and trust you. So these 6 steps are for you to take action on today as soon as we finish this call, which will be very soon. Number 1, set aside 30 minutes to reflect on your values, goals, aspirations for your real estate investing business. This is your goals, your values, your aspirations, where you want to be. Step 1, write that down on a piece of paper. Step 2, write down your thoughts and ideas. Do not worry about being perfect or concise at this stage. Just write down thoughts and ideas. Step 3, review your notes and identify the key themes that emerge, things that seem to come up over and over. Like, I want to help people. I want to make X amount of dollars. I want to make sure that I'm not involved in doing documentation or going out to appointments. Step 4, draft a purpose statement that reflects your values, your vision for your business, and keep it simple and clear. This is not the time to be Mozart. The shorter your sentence, the better it is. Number 5, review your purpose statement and ensure that it aligns with your actions and goals. Make sure that your action statement and your purpose statement move you towards your goals and stay authentic to yourself. If you are not authentic, you will lose your company at some point in the future. Number 6, begin taking action steps towards your purpose by aligning your actions with your statement in something small today. Something small, like a little bite-sized thing that you can do today so that you know tomorrow you've taken action and moved yourself towards your goal. Show of hands if this makes sense. If you can take action on this. If you didn't catch or write those down, it is recorded. Go back and watch this recording. Number 1 thing that makes a person successful is action. But you can't take action without a clear focus. You cannot take action to move yourself forward without knowing where you're going. So every week we bring a book of the week. Every week we share one of those books that has been so fundamental in our growth so that you don't have to go and figure out what book to read. This week's book of the week is a powerful book. I don't see Mike Shine on the call, so the keeper of the books. So what I'll do is I'll offer somebody on the call who has read this book to share what your review of the book is. This week's book of the week is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is the #1 book. By the way, I've interviewed billionaires, multimillionaires, decamillionaires, you name it. I have interviewed them. They always say the same book. I asked them for 5 books. This book is always one of them. It is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So let's unmute the mic. Who has read this book and would like to share their review? And for everybody on TikTok and Instagram, cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always invest with the best. We'll see you on Alchemist Nation. Go ahead, unmute the mic. Who wants it? Steven, have you read this book? Miss Jorsky, have you read this book?
Oh. Honestly, I feel like everyone's read this book. I don't know why everyone's being so shy. Like, seriously, come on. I'm utterly disappointed on a whole right now that no one jumped in and took the opportunity.
Not
I guess everyone's intimidated by how well Mike Shine does the book of the week too well that everyone's intimidated. Think and Grow Rich. I read 20 years ago for the first time, and I actually wrote my own Cliff Notes version of it, which was originally meant to be a letter to estranged family member that I never sent, but that's a whole nother story. It turned out to be my own personal cliff note over the last 20 years. So I'm kind of glad I wrote that unsent letter, so to speak, because in the matter of 5 pages, I basically could get everything out of that book, which was essentially this journey of thoughts. But I mean, the book takes you on this journey almost kind of like when you do a guided meditation, and the way they have you kind of visualize that journey. And there's all these different, you know, discoveries along the way. So within that, there is, you know, a theme of fixative purpose, which talks about that burning desire and kind of like, you know, the burn the boats, and how, you know, you can't have a plan B because that'll take you away from focusing on plan A, and you really won't just go after it. So I just saw Thurbin in the chat. I'm surprised he didn't jump in when he had the opportunity. He's like the second coming of Mike Shine when it comes to the books. But yeah, so I'll let Thurbin jump in after just making the final point of it really is the book that pretty much everyone's read that is, you know, in business, has had success in business, you know, is a millionaire or multimillionaire. And it really touches on every facet, so to speak, of that journey from a mental aspect, and what it takes to be successful. And it's timeless, you know, even though the book's crazy old at this point, all those principles still work because at the end of the day, you know, 90% of everything in our life comes down to what goes on right here. There's a 6-inch space that is really the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking on the word I want, but whatever. That 6-inch space pretty much controls 90% of what happens in our life. Yeah.
Determines it does.
Exactly. Determines. There you go.
For everybody who doesn't know Mitch Jorsky, Mitch is the author of the book Scaredy Cat Guide to Real Estate Investing. He is also the leader of our mentorship program. Let's give Mitch Jorsky a big round of applause. This week, he read a book of the week. Thurbin James, if you don't know who Thurbin is, this cat has read 100 books in a single year. He's trying to catch up to me in books read, and he's actually really damn close because I only read about 50 to 60 books a year. And at his rate, he will pass me within a year or two now. So let's give Thurbin James a round of applause. What is your take on Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, so you know, like Mitch mentioned, it has several principles in it on how to become rich, and it also has a lot of stories in it from people of Napoleon's time, like Henry Ford and so on, and just kind of mentioning that, you know, it's not really all about hard work. There are tons of people that work hard and don't get rich. And also it really kind of talks about the mental component of you know, of getting rich, as well as like you mentioned, just a fixative purpose, you know, and having a end goal for where you want to be, you know, to become rich. So I highly recommend it to anybody, you know, as well as a little fun fact that they also have a workbook, in case you are interested in that. But yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Let's give Thurbin a round of applause. I was just looking for my workbook. I don't know what happened to my version of the book. I have like 4 in the house. I think Dorena has it in her office, but I also have the workbook. I have the big old school version. I've got like 3 different versions of this book. This book is a game changer. Fixity purpose is non-negotiable. It is necessary. And also this week is starting the next version of the recession proof challenge. Hands to the camera if you've already been through the recession proof challenge before, the 21-day challenge with us. If you already have been, it is free to you. We're updating and adjusting it so you get access to 100 millionaires in the next 21 days. So we're shifting it. So you're going to be reaching out to the landlords in your market who already have over $1 million net worth. And we'll be showing you how to have a conversation with them, how to take them to lunch. And we're going to automate the process because Mark's team is also working on an automation workflow that allows you to just plug their name in, number, email, and it starts texting them and inviting them out to lunch. Show of hands if that seems like an unstoppable way to meet millionaires. It's, yeah, all you gotta do is be a decent human being. So the 21-day challenge, we'll be showing you how to do that, and we'll be doing it with you right there side by side. It'll be in there with the coaching. If you have not done this before, it does cost money. It's extremely expensive for those who don't want to take action. It's extremely expensive for those who don't care about their wealth. It's extremely time consuming for those who have no fucking goals in their lives. But if you're looking to build a relationship with 100 millionaires, if you're looking to take yourself to the next level, you're looking to raise, we'll call it $1 million in capital, or you're looking to buy real estate in the next 30 days, 60 days, this is a non-negotiable way to get there. It's $97, and clearly it's not how I get rich. I get rich by you getting rich. Once you become successful, you're now a player. I can either invest in your deals, or we can invest in deals together, or you can raise, you can take your money and drop it into some of my friends' deals, and I get money from doing that. Show of hands if you understand. I'm altruistic, but I also like making money. So I want to see everybody in this community a millionaire because of the beautiful thing that you're doing with each other. To our leaders, you're helping others grow. Thank you. To the people who have not joined us yet, give us a shot. We're pretty freaking cool. To those who are working with us building millionaires, the people who are documenting their own process and creating blog posts in Alchemist Nation, sharing their wins, sharing their feedback, to Elizabeth Miller, Gary Aker, to Mitch, the people who are like actually creating content in Alchemist Nation, Thurbin, Mark, Frank, Darina, Ron. Let's give everybody a big round of applause. If you've created a post in Alchemist Nation that has helped others, Richard Ellison, Lee, I see you. I see you. I appreciate everything that you're doing to share your knowledge with those who are watching on Alchemist Nation, learning. There's over 2,000 members out there. Even if they don't comment or post, they are reading your stuff. They are learning from you. So just take it in stride. You matter. What you're doing matters. As leaders, every post you make, every piece of content you create, it is helping somebody else, even if that person doesn't take the time to like or share their comments, which, by the way, if somebody has helped you in Alchemist Nation, please let them know. And the more public you do it, the more likely somebody else is to read and consume what they've already created. So let's give our content creators and our members a big round of applause for helping and supporting each other as they learn more and share more. I think it's really important. Every week we do Q&A because, hey, you know, what's the point having a bunch of millionaires on a call if you can't ask us questions about this topic, and if you can't take action? Show of hands if you already know the 6 steps and you're going to go take action on literally today. So fucking smart. I love you. Go give yourselves a round of applause. I love it. This is the next Q&A session. Stephen Bieber, can you monitor the questions to make sure we get through the maximum amount of people answering the best in the shortest period of time?
Absolutely. But just a reminder, everybody, we've got Mitch isn't just a scaredy cat. He's a great guide. If you've got a deal out there and you've got some questions, he's a scaredy cat because when he sees something, he runs to it, not away from it. So it's a kind of a trick there. But no.
He is the king of evaluating deals.
He is. And we've got people, if you've got questions about Alchemist Connect, if you've got questions about business, if you've got questions about anything relevant to what we're doing, just unmute your mic and start talking. You can always interrupt me. That's what I always say. I don't care. So
first unmute wins. In fact, I would say Q&A around Fixity of Purpose. Show of hands if you know somebody who doesn't have a Fixity of Purpose or have been one of those people, suffer from any of the symptoms. Now's your chance. Unmute, share your story, or share the story about this person. I think it's really important. It's easier for people to relate to, especially when it's not them. So first unmute wins. Go ahead.
Big Walter.
There you go, brother.
I'll go first.
I appreciate you, Alan. Let's give Alan a round of applause. Dude's got guts.
Well, I heard what Mitch said about not jumping in for Think and Grow Rich. So I can't swing and miss again, or not even take a swing. So I'll go this time.
That's what we love about you, brother.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the Fixity of Purpose thing. It's just making me think that sometimes the problem is having too many purposes on your plate at once. I was trying to think of the opposite of fixity, because it's shiny object syndrome in other words. And I know a lot of us suffer from that, myself included at times. And, just learning to, like you preach a lot, picking one, maybe two, even 3 lanes might be too many, but 1 or 2 at the most lanes to navigate at one time, instead of careening across that, real estate investing superhighway all over the place. That's what you really have to do. And I think Fixity of Purpose just reminds us of that, to, pick a lane and give it enough time to find out. It may not be your lane. You may find out a few months later that that's not the lane you want to be in, but at least give it enough time to know one way or the other. Because you'll only be successful if you stick with something long enough to find out. So,
Absolutely. Let's give Alan a big round of applause. Alan, we need to talk. You've got some good stuff there. But yeah, I think I've mentioned this story before, but I'll tell it again for the people that haven't heard it. Bill Gates Sr., and Warren Buffett were sitting in a little diner, a little hole-in-the-wall diner. And the guy recognized him, walked up to him and said, "Hey, I don't want to bother you, but can I ask you a question?" They're like, "Sure." Says, "Can you give me the secret to your success?" And they all 3 said the same thing: focusing on the one thing, right? Just focusing and sticking to it, right? And so you're all over it, Alan, all over it. That's a hard one, because our monkey brain says, "Oh wait," or squirrel, whatever you want to call it. "Oh look, there it is. Let's do that. I could do it." Entrepreneurs have that. Walter has it. I have it. Mitch has it. Everybody has it. We we can do so many things, but when you do so many things, you get none done. But if we were talking about that earlier, the theme days, right? If you just stick with one theme that day, boom, you can get so much more done. So absolutely.
it's funny you mentioned that word, Steve. Focus. I have it on my phone as a screensaver. Follow one course until successful. So you're absolutely right.
I have to admit, like Stephen pointed it out, I lack focus sometimes. That's why I have a board of directors, right? They keep me focused. In fact, we're looking for our board right now, and we've identified that the CEO sometimes goes off in multiple different directions because everything seems like fun. And in order to make sure that I'm on task, I have to have people around me who control kind of the direction of the company and make sure the company is moving in the right direction. So we are currently building our board of directors. We have 3 people in mind. One of the rules we learned around board of directors is never have more than 3, because you get more than 3 and you get indecision. You get people not taking decisions, not doing things. We may have many committees. The size of Alchemist Nation, just the breadth of what we're doing is huge, and there are a lot of different committees that will be needed to start. But I'm going to be having conversations this week with the 3 people the candidates I believe will make great board of directors. We're looking for a chairman of the board, secretary of the board, and the treasurer of the board. So it's going to be very interesting this week. I'm basically hiring my own bosses and looking for a few people to tell me what to do. So you may need that in your life. You may need a board of directors in your company, and a board typically is not a paid thing. It's somebody who cares so deeply about your company that they're willing to take on a little bit of responsibility to tell you where to go, where they believe it's the right thing to do. They also have no conflicts of interest. So it may not be your family members who are on your board, but they do have to operate off of your strategic objective, right? Your fixity of purpose for the company. So, and you can build it with the board, you can build it with people in your company, but make sure that your board is identified with where you're going. Go ahead, Stephen. I just you pointed out that I had the same challenge as everybody else, and I think that's a fair statement.
I tried to spread the wealth there on the job. Myself too. I mean, it's so difficult, and the problem with people is that they think they're the only ones that have that problem, and they don't realize. They think, oh, look at this person. They're so successful. We struggle with the same demons that everybody else does. It's just that we've finally figured out most of the time procedures and systems to curtail it. You're doing it right now. You're seeing Alchemist Nation grow so large so fast. We had to talk about that. That's very dangerous, because right now you're small, you're nimble, but if we don't make the right decisions, as you get bigger, you can't make those adjustments. Then you have to get the bean counters in and find out if that adjustment, even though it makes more money, is worth it. So, and so that's a scary but good thing to have. But yeah, So I'm looking
I
at.
think.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead,
sorry.
Lois.
I'm just jumping in there. I'm thinking of my journey because I'm fairly new to real estate, and the shiny syndrome thing and trying to find your focus. Um, it's hard when you don't know where that is. So I kind of use the analogy of like bowling. Like when I first learned how to bowl, I put the bumper pads up and it goes back and forth and back and forth. I'm looking at the pins, wanting them, wishing them to fall, but it just bounces everywhere in the gutter, whatever. But each time I throw the ball, it gets a little bit more focused. And then eventually I can take the bumper pads down because I've tried those. Like, and so like when I joined this program, I went to the business mapping class, and it was off of where I really it was a passion of mine, but it wasn't where I wanted to go. And so I tried it for a bit and then came back. And so I knew where I was supposed to be because I tried something else. And my heart wasn't in it. So sometimes you do have to try things on your way to figure out where you belong. And so I
actually did that roadmap call with you, Lois, and
yes.
you've done an amazing job at taking action in something that you thought you were passionate about, but our passions are not always where our money is made, is it? Right? I know I'm not passionate about real estate.
Right.
I'm just really damn good at it. I'm really fucking good at real estate, so I made a lot of money in it. I'm passionate about helping people. Like that's been my passion my entire life, but I had to go and do real estate in order to be in a position where I could help people. Give Lois Petman a round of applause. She's amazing. I love seeing her on the path she's in now. Absolutely crushing it.
And I'd like to remind everybody that's a perfect example of why you should go ahead. And even though you may think you can't do it, or you may wonder, is this the right decision? If you just make that decision and start taking that path, you might take 2 steps and find out there's a cliff in front of you. And but now you would have never known that, right? And now you know to turn left, right, or go backwards or whatever, right? So making those decisions is it's just sometimes not sometimes, most of the time you just got to do it.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, what would you advise to keep people from getting married to their decisions and being afraid of the divorce of their decisions?
Be impeccable with your word, right? Impeccability. Like really, it does take knowing yourself and being a little humble. In fact, oh my God, perfect example. This weekend, I had committed to doing a 2-day webinar, a 2-day workshop. Show of hands if you know about the Recession Proof Conference. I had committed to doing 2 days Recession Proof Conference. On Friday morning, I had a call with the team. And I said, this conference doesn't make sense for the community that we have based on the conversations I've been having with them. They need a deal analyzer boot camp. I can't do that in a 2-day weekend. It has to be done a little bit at a time. And so we shifted, and that was, man, it was emotional for the team who have worked hard for an entire 2 months to push everybody towards a singular event. And then once we got close to it, I didn't feel right about it. I didn't feel good about it. It didn't feel right. And it wasn't the thing that I'd interviewed a lot of people who were going to that event. I said, look, give them the deal analyzer bootcamp. Now the deal analyzer bootcamp is much more valuable. It's much more intensive. It's much more work for us, but it is better. It is fundamentally better for this community and where we're at. We need to understand how to evaluate deals, not necessarily get distracted with different investment opportunities, which literally, like, as I was preparing myself for Fixity to Purpose, I was like, holy shit, I fucked up. So I had to divorce not just myself, but my entire internal staff against an idea that I've been putting into their heads for the last 3 months. And it's emotional, Patrick. And it's sometimes, even as leaders, it's emotional for us, but it's even harder on our team. And it can be even harder on them because they're like, what was all my time for? And like sometimes we just have to do a tough decision, like Stephen was talking about, like now, early, while the company is flexible, before it becomes rigid and really fundamentally strong. And if you make a decision, it's super expensive. It's a lot of people's lives at stake if you make decisions later on that you could have done early on in the company. So one, preventative measures is meditation. It is spending that time with yourself to really ask yourself. We talked about this exercise today. Like, ask yourself what your vision is, where you want to go, like how, like, in making no compromises in your vision for yourself and your life. Not saying like, oh, it's okay, I'll deal with that when I get there. Like, just no compromises. What does your future really look like? And then holding yourself to figuring out how to get there, finding out the way to get there, because you will, right? You have the most powerful operating system in the planet. We have spent years trying to get AI to be able to do what your brain can already do, right? We've been spending like centuries trying to get these computers to be able to do what your brain can already do. Each one of you, your brain can already change. It can already divorce itself from an idea. It can marry itself to a new idea. It can create new concepts. It can test and theorize how. Think about it. What is fear? Your brain thinking about the future, right? You're going down 1,000 different avenues before they've even hit. That's some crazy processing power for you to be able to come up with all those different scenarios that probably will never happen. True or true? Show of hands if we know. Fear, those things we're afraid of typically never happen. Don't be afraid. Like, embrace the fact that you are a human being capable of fear, capable of reading into the future and preventing things from happening to you. And you're right, brother. You got to divorce yourself from some things so you can do the one thing. And many of us, especially entrepreneurs, show of hands if you have more than one business, more than one stream of income, more than one way of doing things. It happens. Even the best of us. I have multiple businesses, and this week we said, how do we dial this down to one? How do we dial down to one stream? How do we dial down to one type of invoice, $1 amount, one invoice for all? We kind of Lord of the Rings did. We were like one product to rule them all. I swear to God, it was very emotional for us, Patrick. There was crying, there was yelling, there was like, we laughed, we were like shocked ourselves. But me and my two other shareholders in Alchemist Nation, we sat together, and Ron has been a long time part of me in other companies for 7 years. And Dorina she's stuck with me no matter what, because she lives with me. And the last 3 years, she's been shifted through all sorts of different companies, all sorts of different ideas. And it came down to, in order to really serve this community and really change this country, we have to do one thing. We have to build a network. We have to build the base and let our community build the verticals. If we build the base and we go sideways and allow the money, like it's that's what it is. You get tempted and you want to take the money from here, all different ways to get paid, right? The vertical of the pyramid. And we said, if we just build the base and we get paid one way and allow our whole community to build their own verticals, that's what we do. And that's hard, because I want to buy real estate so bad right now. I'm a real estate investor. I'm not passionate about it. I'm just really good at it. And I hate seeing opportunities fly by. Hands to the camera, though, if you're glad you have opportunities that I'm not taking, right? Hell yeah. So let's give Patrick a round of applause. That's a great question. I love seeing you on the camera, man. Thank you for being here today. And
let's not forget Walter. Let's give him a round of applause too. And Patrick, I'll answer your question with this. Walter gave 4 ways to do it with Billionaire, and 6 ways that he's doing it. Look at, your vision statement, design your strategic objective. I won't go through all of them, but I did put the notes in there. Walter was talking really fast. I think he was trying to throw me, so I couldn't keep up. But yeah, that's why I wasn't able to answer your question. I'm not falling into that trap, because I'll lose my train of thought. I knew what you were doing. So, but yeah, no, that's one of the best ways. And that's, correct me if I'm wrong, Walter, but that was one of the things that you were like, wait a minute, and you could see that, and you're like, this doesn't fit, right? From good to great, the 3 circles, right? Economic and all, where does it fit? I've had many opportunities and I turn them down because it doesn't fit into my wheelhouse, right? So anyway, yeah.
I love it. We got time for, we'll say 2 or 3 more questions. Or shares. Show of hands if this has been valuable for you this week. If this principle in particular has been really helpful. Excellent. Let's take another question or two. I love just hearing where you're at. As a community, I love just seeing the mindset. And for those of you who do not know what Wealth Principle 17 is, next week we're going to be talking about offering high ticket items or dealing in high volume sales, or both. So if your company isn't quite sure what it does, next week we're going to dial that in for you.
I got a question for Tabitha or Scott. Has your son dialed in his business a little bit deeper now since we talked?
Well, they're working on dialing it in, I would say. They're working with the VAs to get more things accomplished without having to keep it on their plate, get their tasks done.
Targeting areas.
Targeting marketing areas
clients.
and marketing properly, I guess you would say, because they weren't marketing correctly, didn't have the right flyers going out there. So that's what they're working on right now is making sure that they're reaching the audience they need to be. And right now, one of the things they're doing is working on putting together a podcast about their business, which is going to help them, get out there and show people that they know what they're doing.
So they had to make mistakes before they figured out what a better way to do it is. And that awesome.
Yeah.
They had to do that. They wouldn't have been able to figure it out if they hadn't taken that step and made those thought this might work, and then bam, finally. Awesome. Do you think it would be helpful these notes today would be helpful for them?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
And with them, I know what was I gonna say again now? They we're doing it every week together as like a business family meetings. We're doing what's working, what's not working, and we're kind of like, what do you need help with this week type of thing too.
I gotta stop you right there and give everybody needs to give Tabitha and Scott a round of applause. You are working on the most important business out there, your family. Your family is a business, and helping your kids learn to succeed is your number one priority. Most parents don't get that. I didn't get it for a long time. You guys are way ahead of the food curve. I was just going to give you another round of applause. That is amazing. That is great.
And I got to ask Tabitha, Scott, what business is your son doing?
Him and his sister chose about 7 years ago to go into the demolition and debris removal business.
And what market? I mean, if Alchemist Nation need demolition and debris removal.
All through New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they've gotten into Eastern Pennsylvania now, which includes Philly.
Very cool.
So they're working on expanding, but now they're refining things like they created an employee handbook now, which they didn't have before. So they're working on finalizing that part. They read
the E-Myth, huh?
They have to, because that's what their business entails, is hiring laborers, and they want to get more truck drivers. So they had a few jobs recently where they went and they didn't have to do work, and they were like, I don't feel right just standing here.
Yeah, they can't handle that.
But I said that's the growth.
Used to it. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's the growth when you can work on the business and not in it, and you can expand it more because you're able to go out and talk to people and meet people. So,
but they also have the work ethic that at the end of the day, working up a good sweat, you feel better about what you've done for that day.
Yeah,
right.
That's great to know. When I was commuting, I kept coming behind these dump trucks that said, for those who said I couldn't, this is number 12.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't realize in New Jersey, there's a lot of different insurances. There's like 3 different types of insurances, and the licensing. You not only have to go through the state, but you have to go through the federal background checks and everything. And you have to have different numbers posted on your trucks. So a lot of these guys, especially the ones that have a piece of wood sticking up on the side of their pickup truck, it's illegal. And if they get hurt on your property while just picking up a couch, if they break their back, you're responsible.
Yep.
A lot of people forget to ask for those licenses and that insurance, especially when they're doing demolition work.
Yep.
We have the same thing in real estate. Make sure that the people you're working with are insured. If you're a real estate investor and you haven't been sued, be a real estate investor long enough and it will happen. So make sure that you're preventing it at every level of the game as often as you possibly can. Sometimes it's out of your control. Make sure you have insurance at every level, because the insurance company will take care of that lawsuit. Go ahead, Thurbin.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, in terms of your purpose, how flexible should it be? So for example, we'll use you, right? So your goal is building 100 millionaires, right? So like I'm certain that you have like a criteria of like, this is what we will accept as, like, let's say someone is proposing to help you with that. These are things we will accept. These are things we won't. So like, how flexible should it be, I guess, if that makes sense?
That's a very good question, because I've often been told, oh, well, what I do helps your mission. And it's like, I get on a call and then they're a financial planner. And it's like, dude, like, I only need one of you, right? I don't need 12 financial planners. That has changed because I need a financial planner in every single market now. That's 300 financial planners that I now could use. But 4 years ago, I didn't know. And I didn't know how to use them, how to leverage them. I think you just got to say no more often than say yes. Thurman, I think that's the easiest way to get there. And then one day you wake up and you're like, oh my God, that's something I can now say yes to, but I've heard it enough times to know where to find it. And I don't think people say no enough. I think people get too excited around all the new ideas. And it's like, oh, you know what? This distracts me from my current pain point. Let me go over there. If you look at your purpose and say, well, we build 100 millionaires as the goal. I knew real estate built millionaires. So I said no to everything else. Crypto, stocks, everybody who came to me was like, oh, people can be millionaires if they just invest in this stock right now. It's a penny stock. They need to put a 10,000 and it's going to go up 10 times or 100 times. That'll make them a millionaire. I said, like, I can't guarantee that. I can't control that. But real estate, I know I can. Real estate, I can teach. Real estate, I have friends who can help, people buy those things. So you start to qualify as you go. And I think it's almost better to say no to more than you say yes to. And then the more clear you get on how you do it, the more success you see. You do a lot of tracking, Thurman. You track your successes, you track how efficient that time was, how much, like for us, how much wealth did that person make that year with the actions they were doing compared to this other person who seemed to have made more. Like we had one person who made $1.25 million in a single year. I went and I started like dialing. He was my 80-20. He was the person who grew fastest in a shortest period of time. I said, what did he do? And everybody else who was like doing all these different things, it turned out they were doing different things. He was just acquiring real estate. His only thing was acquire real estate. That was Saeed Khan. If you haven't met Saeed, then, well, if you have, you know who he is. But Saeed Khan, he went and he said, all I do is buy multifamily in Worcester. He said, screw all other cities, screw all other types of property. This is all I do, multifamily in Worcester. And he just kept going. He run out of money and he said, okay, when I run out of money, I go and I acquire money or I do seller financing. That was his adjustment, right? I say yes to seller financing, raising capital. I say yes to those two things. And I just keep doing my one thing, which is acquiring real estate. And he brought somebody on to do his property management. So he didn't have to learn that. He was like, you do property management. I'm just going to go and acquire real estate. And that was how he got from $250,000 net worth to $1.5 million net worth in a single year, 18 months. And I'll take him to the next level. Don't even ask me for this for everybody on the call. He hired me to be his coach. So one-on-one, I was there with him every single week for 6 months, pushing him to do this one process. I said, look, just do this, just do this, just do this, just do this. And that sharpened him, that hardened him to do one task. I do believe coaches are important. Please do not ask me to coach you. I have this one pyramid, this one base I'm building that I'm only allowed to do one action. But I will say that if you can get a coach or an accountability partner or somebody who can hold you accountable to doing one thing, buy real estate, hire a property manager, right? Buy real estate, do creative financing. Then you can stay focused on that, which I know Mitch Dorsey is going to be doing that with his mentorship program, which, by the way, let's give Mitch a round of applause. He's taken on a lot of work with that program. That is a lot of work. I used to run it myself, and I had a team. I had Mitch. I had these other guys in there helping me. Mitch is going to do this single-handedly for 6 weeks. It'll probably be the only time he does it this year, and he's going to start that, I think, in a month. So we're going to give everybody who's going to be a part of the Recession Proof Conference, we're shifting you into the Deal Analyzer for this next 4 weeks, Monday night at 8 p.m. If you haven't already gotten the notification, I'm telling you now, it's in your email. You got a text. If you didn't get it and it's not in your email, you're not texting, like, you must have said stop to us at some point. Don't do that. That's crazy. I promise not to spam you. And if I do, you text me back, let me know I spammed you, and I'll stop that. Show of hands if you understand. I have no intention to ever lose trust or distract or bother you in any way. I truly love you. I truly want your success. So if you're annoyed by my text, please tell me so I can slow them down. I can ease them up, or I only want to send you good stuff. Show of hands if you commit to being in this relationship the same way I'm in it. Awesome. Thank you. I will not always be perfect, and I may double text you. Please just let me know. Don't accept it, because not everybody else will be as accepting as you. I want to improve what I'm doing so that it works. That being said, this has been such a fun principle for me. And this whole year of working with you has been fun for me. We've been doing this now 3.5 years. This is our 4th time running through the 52 weeks to wealth. We've built millionaires with this. We've built deep relationships. We've built the 100 Millionaires Summit from this group. And this year, I really do think that I'm close to building 100 millionaires in a single year. I don't know if I'll pull it off, but if I do, it's because of you. If I do, it's because of the feedback you're giving. It's the fact that you're bringing people into this community. It's the fact that you're sharing, your successes, your failures. You're asking us questions. You're reaching out to the mentors, and we're doing it in such a way where it costs you almost nothing. My goal is to get this thing to be completely free. That is my ultimate goal, is to get it to be where we automate building millionaires. It's completely free to you. We're not there yet, and I know that. It's one of our big working projects, and I want you to take that on for us. If you have an idea, if you have a strategy, if you have a resource, a thing that we can do, please post it on Alchemist Nation. I will listen and I will read absolutely everything on that regard, because that's my main focus. How do we automate the millionaire building process, make it available to everyone, and make it available to everyone? Show of hands if you understand. There's a lot of broke people in the world, which means it has to be free and has to be fun. Edutainment, that's what Mitch calls it, edutainment. It's got to be fun, right? If it's boring, they won't do it. So, but for now, just put it in the back of your head that that's what we're doing. We're automating the millionaire building process. We want to make it available to everyone. Ron and I, joke around that we want financial freedom for the world. We don't know what that looks like. We can't clearly define what that looks like. So we're going to start with automating the millionaire building process and making it available to everybody who wants it. So thank you for your dedication to this. Thank you for your dedication to yourself, your community, for being open to learning. I didn't get to where I am by myself. I had books. I've read over 400 books, but I was a millionaire before I did, right? I was a millionaire with 12 books in my brain. I had mentors, people who were extremely successful, who I had to bother and pester and ask questions to. They didn't come out seeking me. I had to go to them, and I wherever they were, I asked them questions, and I took their advice. I went out and I did the actions myself. They didn't hold me by the hand. They didn't care about my success until I showed that I would do what they said I would do. Until they started seeing me take action, that's when they started really caring. And for those of you who've taken action with me, I see it. I pay attention. That means a lot to me. Seeing you take action, really, you've become part of the reason why I still do this. I want to be very clear. I am financially free. I am rich as fuck. I don't need to do a damn thing in this world, but seeing your success gets me excited. It gives me a reason to keep going. It gives me, fills me with purpose. Show of hands if you know exactly what I'm talking about. You feel the same way when you see somebody else do well. Hell yeah. So go out. My suggestion, my ask for you today is to go and create a Facebook Live and share one of the steps for building Fixity of Purpose with your community, with your tribe, with your people, with your friends. Even if only one person watches it, it could have an impact on that one person. And it's your moral, ethical duty to go and do that, to go and share something you've learned. Give them a story. Tell them about yourself. Tell them about somebody else. Tell somebody else's story. But do it and feel good about it, knowing that you're having an impact with somebody else. Fixity of Purpose is the thing this world is missing, which is why people wake up depressed, unmotivated, unclear about what they're doing. It's why they go through divorces. It's why they don't go to the gym. They don't have a clear vision of what they want in their life. If they're not happy, it's because they don't know what happiness looks like. They're lacking vision. They're lacking a reason to move towards something. And if somebody is inspired by what you teach today or what you share today or a story you tell on your Facebook, who knows? They may never reach out to you and tell you that, but you could still have that impact. So with that being said, cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always invest with the best. I'll see you next week. And for those of you who sign up for the Recession Proof Conference and the Recession Proof Challenge, I will see you in the challenge Monday at 10 a.m. And for those of you who were in the conference and are now in the Deal Analyzing Bootcamp, that's Monday night at 8 p.m. For those of you who are in both, we're going to kick ass this week. Let's go.
Appreciate you, man. Thank all you guys.
Let's give Stephen Beer a big round of applause. I love these Q&A sessions. This is the best part for me, is to get to hear where you're at. So thank you very much, Stephen, for running this for us. Give Elizabeth Miller a round of applause. She did a lot of work in the community this week, built a spreadsheet. She's been sharing her wins. She's rocking the shirt, generate income. Absolutely amazing. Thurban's got the shirt. Everybody who's got one of our shirts, just put it out there. What are you representing today? We got generate income. We got recession proof on Rich. We got 100 millionaires on Lois. Darina's wearing our hoodie. The AN on the back says generate income. There's a new design coming, by the way. There's in honor, Patrick, of one shirt to rule them all. There is a new design we're working on that and it will embody what we are and who we are. And I know on some level this shirt will have the words "I build millionaires" on it, and on some level we'll have Alchemist Nation, the logo we've been working on. But I think there's also going to be an empowering statement on the back, close to our manifesto, something that will get people to say, "I got to talk to that person." Show of hands if you don't mind wearing something that gets people to come talk to you and ask you about what you're doing.
And when are we getting hats?
I guess we'll coming soon, right? Well, one product,
Yeah.
Eric, one product.
Hey, man, I'm a hat man. Anybody else a hat man? Let's do it, baby.
You know what? For our hat men, so I'm going to submit the shirt and then you can submit some suggestions. I am all about what will you wear, not what I think is cute or not what I think is sexy. What will you wear is more important to me. Cheers to your success, by the way. For everybody who's designing a hat, Eric, can you run this up? Oh, Thurman, you want to run this? You want to run the hat committee right now?
Hey, I'm good.
I'm sorry, the hat says I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires, inspired to build 100 millionaires. So I can't help with that. That's not my purpose.
All right, Eric is going to run the hat committee. So Eric, make a post in Alchemist Station and we'll make sure a badass hat is created.
And don't forget the back of the hat, man, because when you're walking away, you want people to stop you and turn you around. The back of the hat is always missed.
Patrick and Scott are on the hat committee. You've been voted in.
You've been voluntold.
You've been voluntold. This mission will not self-destruct, but your business might if we don't get that hat designed. I'll see you in the next one.